This is the process shot. I'm Michael. I thought I was doing alright, but then this movie happened and I don't know about that anymore. Biohazard is a sci-fi horror movie from 1985 directed by Olen, and that's about the most that I can say before I have to really rack my brain about it. The story starts with a government test involving a psychic whose powers include being able to visualize and transfer objects from another dimension into our own reality. This test successfully brings over a metal box, the contents of which are a small, bloodthirsty monster that escapes during its transfer from the facility. Now it's up to a few soldiers, with the help of the psychic, all of whose names don't actually matter, to track down the radioactive alien beast before it can kill everything it meets. That happens anyway though, so most of the movie just ends up being a whole lot of talking and a whole bunch more nothing. Seriously, there's no actual substance to anything that happens in the movie after the setup. I mean, things happen, but they're so inconsequential that they may as well have been cut and nothing would have actually been lost from the experience. I can't even say that the horror scenes are entertaining because they don't even show the actual kills. Cut them out, and the rest of the movie is a string of redundant and altogether uninteresting scenes of the main characters. And it really isn't an exaggeration that their names don't matter at all. It's clearly more about what they do rather than who they are, and what they do is nothing of consequence. Add it all up, and this ends up being one of those stories where anything that is remotely interesting or concerns the established plotline doesn't begin until maybe 10 or 15 minutes before the movie actually ends, when they finally figure out where the monster is and try to fight or kill it. This is supposed to be where all the characters converge and finish up their own subplots, but since the movie only focuses on two people, those other stories are wrapped up in wholly unsatisfying manners. Though that's still okay because it's not as if they were ever developed in the first place. They actually take a bit of time to remind the audience who one of these side characters is and what their relationship is to the other characters. Moving on, there's little that needs to be said about the technical details of this movie, but then again, there's little that actually can be said about them. This is the sort of movie where if a scene could be shot in the house of a cast or crew member, then it was. The only set that looks explicitly constructed was probably made for a different movie, and it wouldn't surprise me if those scenes were shot in one day before everybody had to clear out. After that, it's the usual sort of process of filming wherever they can, no matter what the story might actually call for. Cinematography and general camera work do try to present these areas with some sense of continuity and consistency, but it's far from anything truly impressive or indicative of a personal style. Really, it's pretty much the standard approach of pointing the camera at characters and making sure they're in focus. If there ever are any creative shots, it's to frame any special effects in whatever way makes sure you can't see how they work. I will say that the effects are actually pretty good at times, or at least they look better than expected given everything else in the movie. That's still only a minor element, since there aren't even enough of those effects to say that the film was made as an excuse to show them off. I'm really not sure why this movie was made at all, honestly, unless it turns out that there was an initial purpose, only for the money to run out before shooting actually started. But at that point, maybe they should have stopped and thought again. Biohazard. Olen, 1985. Half a star. I don't recommend seeing this movie at all. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have something to add, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. I can't even say that it's worth sitting through the movie for the nude scenes. There's barely any of it in here at all, and when they happen, you'll probably wonder why they even bothered.